Hello, people. On today's episode of Read the Bible series, I want to talk about Ahithophel, David's counselor. When Absalom, David's son, wanted to, kill David, he first stayed in front of the gates. He stayed in front of the city's gate for 4 years, trying to win souls, you know, trying to make people love him, to care about him. First of all, anybody that comes to meet the king, you'll be like, oh, if the king, had it been there's somebody now that can, if the king had appointed me now, at least we'll be able to solve this matter. Then after I finish talking, people now kiss their hand. It's all sweet and all lovely towards them. But at the end of the day, at the end of the day, after 4 years, he did that nonsense for 4 years. And after he declared war against David, he mobilized troops to, to fight the war with him. Then David ran away and left 10 concubines on he left 10 concubines at home. So what baffles me is that when David noticed that most of his men have followed Absalom, including Ahithophel, David made a prayer. He said that God, let the wisdom or let the counsel of Ahithophel become folly, or turn Ahithophel's counsel to folly. Meanwhile, Ahithophel's wisdom and knowledge in the whole of Israel was as if gods were talking to somebody. It was as if, the kind of counsel he gives, he never misses, and he's very intelligent. So now, David had already prayed that God should turn his wisdom into folly. But do you know what I realized? God is very powerful. So after all this, Ahithophel first gave a counsel. Because me, I was like, he gave a counsel that Absalom should go and sleep with. Absalom should go and sleep with the 10 concubines. And I went to go and investigate further about it. I'm like, why? I felt that that was a foolish counsel. So I made my investigation. And I found out that that counsel means dominance. If you can sleep with your father's wives, it means that there's no turning back in this struggle. And sleeping with them publicly just shows that he's declaring sovereignty and that he's ready to fight his father and without turning back. And he's like, in those days, if you want to colonize a place, you take their wives to show that, just like lions, the way lions do, they will kill their fellow male lion and take his wife and his children. Okay, God did not turn Ahithophel's wisdom into folly. Then after that, Ahithophel now advised him that let me go, or maybe send somebody to take 12,000 troops to go and attack David suddenly. But Absalom did not follow that advice. He followed that of David's friend, who is a spy to David. That one just came, I've forgotten his name, just came to come and tell David that, why not let us wait? Let us first gather all the whole Israel. Let's gather them. Then all of us will now go and march towards David. David is strong and his men too, they are strong. We need many people. We cannot just go and attack him with just how many thousands. And now we will not do anything. Meanwhile, when Ahithophel heard that his advice was not followed, he then went ahead and, he killed himself. He went to his hometown, he put his house in order, and he committed suicide. And I was like, what kind of pride is that? Why is he so proud? Why is he so proud? Why did he think that his advice will definitely work? And I tried studying more about it, and I realized that Ahithophel never misses. And I realized something about God's gift. If God has given you a gift, He doesn't take it back. He doesn't take it back. He just allows something to happen that people will not just see it as something that they should follow again. You just lose credibility. So many of us today, we are like Ahithophel. We are wise, but the spirit of betrayal is in us, because Ahithophel was for David's counsel. Why did he have to betray David? And he's okay. It's okay. But they didn't end up following his advice, and it was like an embarrassing thing for you. It was shameful, and his ego could not take it. But I later found out that it's beyond just ego. It's about the fact that they did not follow his advice. This advice that they follow, this second one that they follow, can never work on David, because the more time you give David, the more powerful he is, and the more the people that were supposed to, the more they will have a change of heart. That, should we follow Absalom or should we follow David? So that was what I realized, that God can give you a gift, but even if you are useful and everything, if you're a betrayer, if you have a mind that is bad. So indeed, God answered the prayers of David. He just answered it in a different form, because they didn't follow his advice, despite his advice being the good one. They didn't follow it, and that ended up, getting Absalom destroyed, because he knows that if David should, be able to overcome Absalom, his end too will be doomed. His end will be doomed. So he decided to just kill himself before David, overcome Absalom.